Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Let's cut the deck a little shiny and see what we got here. Happy Friday, Friday. Hope all is well where you are, that you're getting geared up for a fantastic weekend, and that you are closing out a prosperous, productive week. All right, let's see here. That should be good, don't you think? All right, let's see what we got today. That's too many. I could have taken that page of cups, but not with that other heap of cards. That was the page of cups, and then the judgment card on top, though, which was maybe good news about a final decision, or a message about a final decision. I don't know. I guess we won't absolutely know, will we? Because I didn't take them. But here's the Queen of Wands. Yeah, I'll take them, why not? But I'll take them upright, even though they fell over a little janky. Okay, let's see here. We have the Four of Swords, the Knight of Pentacles, the Two of Cups, and the Knight of Cups. Two knights, two offers, but one is pure, is absolutely being laid to rest. Let me see what's on the other side of this knight. The Hermit card. What's that about? That this Knight of Cups offer is being guided. Is that what that is? So we got the Queen of Wands. I didn't even really get into her because, I mean, you know, she kind of needs no introduction really, but just for the sake of formalities, the Queen of Wands, of course, is a power queen. She's creative, she's ambitious, she's passionate. She is a leader. She's fire energy, particularly Leo, but also Aries, Sagittarius, if you're nasty. And then we got the Hermit card, that's Virgo energy. The Two of Cups is some type of partnership or commitment of sorts, or proposal, where two people are more or less on the same page or share the same, the feelings are mutual there with the Two of Cups, more or less, in some regard. But what is all this saying? So somebody has, see, the thing is, like, I'm seeing this Four of Swords, and it's like maybe somebody waited too long to make this offer. But the only thing that's thrown me off is that the offer that seems to have come a little bit too little too late with the Knight of Pentacles, which in its own essence is a pretty stable offer, and the highest vibration is something that, or maybe that's why, because he sat with it. I don't know. I got to take another row because the fact that these two knights are both headed in the same direction, but only one of them is headed into the partnership and one of them is headed into Hermitville. Oh, okay. So maybe it's not too late for this Knight of Pentacles. It's just that, as what it also is the essence of the Knight of Pentacles, is that, okay, I see it now, that he is one that will really take his time. It almost seems like he's taking too long, with the Knight of Pentacles. He's the slowest moving knight in the deck, as we say. And it's because he's taken the time to really cultivate that seed, to really work hard and advance the offer that he has to make, so that at least by his standards, it's something that is valuable, like worth offering. That's why we say it's stable, it's secure, it's sound, it's something that more or less you can depend on. And because he's taken the time to actually really develop it, you can feel like it's not something fleeting, as opposed to some of the other knights, i.e. the Knight of Swords or the Knight of Wands, where there may be some instability there, or you might not be able to depend on them quite as much to be grounded and stable as the Knight of Pentacles. Now, it still is Knight energy, right? So either way, there's always, for me, a cause for pause. But I'm seeing this here now with the Four of Swords, is that there's been some rejuvenation, some resting, some perhaps even recovery, and maybe that was the delay, that there needed to be, that this knight was in some state of healing and regeneration. And that ultimately is what has cultivated this pentacle as something valuable to offer at this point, that has given him the confidence to now be able to bring that energy into this union with the Two of Cups. And it be a viable offer, because he's done the healing work, he's done the resting, the meditation, the rejuvenation. He surrendered to a spirit. These Three of Swords is like the Three of Swords heartbreak card, where he's perhaps healed some trauma, found the truth of it all. These are all the highest vibrations of this that I'm looking to make sense of as to why he's coming out of this rest state. And now that's what makes sense to me. Now, what it makes sense to me now, but what was confusing me at first was this Knight of Cups, and why he's heading out of the offer and into hermit mode, like going within, going to find some inner guidance, some inner peace. And now it makes sense, because there were or are two offers. It's like exit stage right or left, I'll never know which one is the actual one, and enter stage left, this new offer, which is more stable. I get the sense that even though it's like this Knight of Cups used to be a match, let's say that, but even that is questionable, okay? Because with the Knight of Cups, as I've said before, you just never know what's really in that cup and how nourishing it is, truly, when it comes to the night. It's a little bit like, say, some Kool-Aid that ain't quite sweet, or some lemonade that that's a little bit bitter, okay? That's kind of what this Knight of Cups is giving me, and perhaps that's why he's being ushered out of this. Maybe he was at one time a partner in this commitment, or a potential candidate to be in partnership, but he's certainly on his way out of here, by way of the progression and movement of the cards, and he's going in to have to do some healing, like maybe perhaps what the Knight of Pentacles did commit to Okay, he committed to his healing and his regeneration and rejuvenation, and that's why he's been deemed worthy to make this offer. Whereas this particular Knight of Cups maybe didn't take the steps to develop his spiritual nature. You know, he didn't take that time to maybe heal some of those traumas and toxicities fully and completely. Like, it's a knight, so it's not necessarily a page, but there's still some healing left to do as to why he's actually being he's I wanted to say being rejected, but I don't know if it's altogether a rejection of between this feminine energy as much as it is just spirit saying, nah, bruh, you need to come find yourself. You know, it's like two different fates going on here with these knights, from what I say. But let's see what else we got in the next row. Oh, and then what was the cards that came up? It was, yeah, it was the Judgment. That was the final decision. And what was the other one? It was Judgment. Oh, and the Page of Cups. Oh my goodness. See, it always makes sense. It was the Page of Cups that first flipped, and then the Judgment with all these cards flipped over that. And I was like, nah, I'm not taking that. So the Page of Cups is like him having, maybe there was some work that got to be done, but the too little too late is really on account of his energy not being fully developed to be a match for whatever this commitment is, or at least not by the standards of this Queen of Wands, if she's the decider. And that's what it looks like to me. Like, she's the one that gets to choose who, yeah, with this Lover's card. And yeah, she wants a stable commitment. Okay, I didn't even know all that was under there. All right, she wants a stable commitment with this Four of Wands card. Well, that's just what she's due, you know, and that's what is due to the both of them in order, as I said, to make this a balanced commitment or contract or whatever it is, for two people to share that mutual exchange of love. These are the things that get to be in place. Okay, so we got the Lover's card. We got, yeah, we got the Lovers. Somebody is definitely upset. Let's see. Hold on. Four of Wands, Ten of Swords, Nine of Swords, Six of Wands, and the Lovers. So somebody is vexed over this partnership coming together. Perhaps because they're not, what I hear is that someone wanted to sabotage it, and it didn't quite work out that way. It's moving forward with the Six of Wands, yeah, into the Lovers. Oh, yeah. They wanted to sabotage the stability of this union, and it was by way of trying to hold back this offer. You know, like, this person was out for the count. He had a lot to recover from. A lot of betrayal, Ten of Swords. I get the sense that much of it was externally imposed, now that I'm seeing this bottom row. And it was in an effort to ultimately delay what was destined to this union, as he tried, okay, so he was trying to bring himself up to a point of, that's why it goes from the Page of Cups to the Knight of Cups. So this individual here who's now vexed, clearly I just got chills about it actually. Like, he is in turmoil in this Nine of Swords. Can't sleep, can't eat. All he thinks about is what he could have done, should have done differently in order to, and it's like, I don't know. I get the sense that it's just really a case of like crying over spilled milk, because now, I don't know. I feel like the reason why these two knights are on the board in like almost an equal status is because they both had equal opportunity to overcome their own personal tests and trials to be divined or ordained to this union, whatever this union may be. A union that is something that is stable, sound, spiritually equal and harmonious, balanced, all those good things. They both had the opportunity to do so, but the choices that they made was where all the difference is what made all the difference. Someone took their time and, crossed all their T's, dotted all their I's. And someone in this regard, I'm getting, try to finesse the process with this Knight of Cups energy. Sometimes they can be finessers, like manipulating the process. So he tried to manipulate, even still, in that upgrade from the Page to the Knight of Cups, he tried to manipulate that final judgment, that final decision by way of interfering with the progress of the offer that had already been shown and proved to be ordained. Trying to advance his healing. That's what it was. Like, he's almost like, how you gonna offer a cup to the spirit? Like, the cup is for you, bruh. They don't need the cup. It's like he tried to finesse the spirits. Oh my God, that's funny. I've never seen it that way. Yeah, like, this is somebody who just pretty much he's used to being able to finesse his way through life by way of his charm. He has a spiritual essence of, obviously in some regard, to be holding the cup in the first place, or he's found his way. Maybe he finessed his way into that too. I don't know, but yeah, because when you consider the difference between the Knight of Pentacles, I'm seeing Pentacles as gifts these days, even though the Spirit is definitely, that's the original essence of all, right? Everything comes from the Spirit. But the Pentacles is like the manifestation of the Spirit, those gifts that are brought to life, that are made physical in the earth, And I feel like he just never quite developed his spiritual essence to the level that was required for him to, be fully activated, that full maturation of spiritual expression in a human form. Obviously, going from the Page, which was a kid's energy, to the Knight, which is still like teenager in some regard. And the reason why the Knight of Pentacles is showing up as he is because of the interference and of the oppression and suppression of his healing and his evolution is what I'm seeing. Like, he would be, and perhaps it's still even time, who knows, but for him to come out, he would be coming out as a King of Pentacles if not for this interference, but still it's like Spirit is still rewarding his persistence, his diligence, his commitment to his development, even in the face of adversity, doing it the hard way. Like, this is slow money, he didn't mind taking his time to get it out the mud because he knew that there was great value in having it in a whole and complete way, and in an honest way. It's like honest money, I should say, not necessarily slow money, but like an honest living is what I hear. This individual made manipulative tactics a way of life for him. Like, he found loopholes and ways to kind of like finesse the spirit. Like I said, this is like the Hermit card is like spiritual essence in a sense. Like, it could be ancestors, way showers, guides. It could be angelic forces. It just could be it is by way of your internal self, you know. But what I'm seeing, like I said, is like he tried to really even finesse his way into his own healing or out of it, one of the two. I get the sense that when he saw there, okay, he thought that this individual was never going to make it out of this place of healing for him. It's like the tortoise and the hare type of vibration right now, and in essence, because if this was the Knight of Swords, and I would really say that because the Knight of Swords moves quickly, but I feel like he thought that this person was never going to quite make it out alive, ultimately, to not only not make it out alive, but wasn't even going to be, wasn't going to advance enough to still be a match for whatever this partnership is, to meet the expectations, the desirability, the qualifications that this partnership requires. He thought that at best he could always finesse his way into the spirit. He could, you know, like he could present himself to have a cup. But then when he saw that the Knight of Pentacles actually was catching up and advancing in ways that wasn't unexpected, he tried to advance himself again by way of acceleration. You know, perhaps, I don't even know. I don't even know how the heck you try to finesse the spirit into thinking that you're healed. Maybe by some, or maybe he was finessing some other spirits. But the Hermit card doesn't really represent that. The Hermit is pretty upright in essence, that this is like guidance and grace, you know what I mean? So, but I guess maybe that's the delusion of it all, that he thought somehow he could present himself like, I'm healed, I get it, I get the lesson now. I understand. I know what is required of me. I know what I need to do. I know how I need to be ultimately in order to be considered for this partnership, because whatever it is, it's a great gift. You know, it has some great, you know, prosperity or potential attached to it, especially with the Lover's card. So yeah, he tried to present himself as worthy, ultimately, of this union, but I don't get the sense that this, I mean, obviously so, that Spirit was buying it. Like, Spirit wasn't buying Spirit wasn't drinking the Kool-Aid, pretty much. Yeah, that's funny. I don't even know, like, what type of soul do you have to think that you can finesse your way into an anointing? You know, like you could trick Spirit into believing you're something that you're not. I don't know. Maybe he was finessing his own ancestors or his Wayshores and guides, like, or he tried to offer, I don't know. Like, I'm stuck on that one. Maybe that's why he's in the place that he's in, because whatever imbalance in his spirit that even thought that he could do that, you know, to take another. I think it's just because he's always been able to do that in some regard, in spirit and in truth. Maybe he's been able to kind of sideswipe his fate. But there's a difference between finessing people and finessing the spirit. Like, maybe perhaps because he's had gotten away with it so much in reality, in a material sense, you know, in partnerships. Okay, now I'm understanding. Like, he's been able to do that over and over again in partnerships, but the spirit sees all, you know, source sees all. So even in ways that you thought you were getting away, you were really just building a case on yourself, which is why he's in the position that he's in now as the Knight of Cups, because instead of him, he was able to exchange now I got it. He's been able to finesse his, you know, ultimately, if you really look at this card, it's almost like he's taking the cup from this feminine energy, but she's offering it. Let me pull it up so you can see, because I always notice this about the card, but that's not the true essence of it in the upright. But if you can see here, it's like he's got his hand stretched out to take that cup, and she's offering almost with two hands, probably giving too much of herself in this regard. But he's still got a pretty good grip on his own cup. So it's like he was willing to take more than he gave in these emotional, spiritual, love exchanges, whatever they panned out to be for him. And it didn't even have to be man to woman, but in this regard, that's just how it's illustrated. In relationships and contracts in general, he's always found a way to ultimately finesse more out of the deal than he's willing to give, or that he has to give. He takes more than he gives, is what I'm trying to say ultimately. So because he's had that track record, that evidence, and I get the sense that somehow, some way, he's found, like I keep saying about a loophole, and this is, Two of Cups can be about contracts. He's found some type of spiritual loophole as to how he was able to get away with it, or at least he thought he was getting away with it over and over without meeting some ultimate karma or defeat. Not only was he successful, but he also wasn't really receiving much of a backlash for the imbalance by whatever tactic he used. I get the sense that he just gave the impression, like I said, he's a finesser. So he gave the impression that he was given equally so that there was no unfair exchange. But in actuality, unbeknownst to whomever's on the other end of that deal, he was definitely taking more than, and even if there was an exchange, like I said, his cup is what? Tart, bitter lemonade. For her sweet, this is like Queen of Cups energy almost, for her sweet, organic, fresh squeezed lemonade. I'm talking Chick-fil-A back in the day, not now, because Chick-fil-A lemonade is like, it's not what it used to be. But back in the day, some Chick-fil-A lemonade, woo, when they used to literally squeeze real lemons into that thing, delicious. Now, whatever. But anyway, now they got some stuff called Sunjoy, where they don't even mix the real lemonade with the real tea anymore. It's like, Chick-fil-A, what's happening? What's going on over there? It's not, nothing is the same. Nothing is what it used to be, right? And that's the essence here. Like, nothing is the same as what he remembered. He played the game in a very specific way, and it always seems to work out for him, which is why he felt like, well, if I could do it in that way, I can certainly do it. Maybe he thought he was even outsmarting himself, maybe because, as I said, this is almost like this is like your inner self, looking for that internal light. And maybe he thought he could almost psych his own mind out to believe that he was more healed than he actually was. Like, people do that, and especially by way of manifestation, they take being delusional to a whole nother level. But there has to be some grunt, like there sometimes when it's an expression of being delusional, in terms of manifestation prowess, it's because there is a supported feeling there that is grounded. There's some grounds for belief, there's some evidence for it. And the elements are in, spirit is in alignment and support with that bringing to life. I hope I'm saying that well. Probably not, but it doesn't matter, because the point is that, like I said, this energy has manifestation power and has been able to do it by way of emotional manipulation, and mostly in the regards of others, and how they receive him and are willing to give to him than anything. But there's been a great shift. And when you're dealing with the Queen of Wands, she's not so much emotionally manipulated. She moves on pure passion. There has to be something there. Like I said, like she's not so sentimental that she's attached because there used to be a connection there, or because she feels sorry for you, or like I don't know, like she has some like emotional, she's not so much in the case of with cups, like she's not as empathetic, I will say. You know, like she's compassionate and passionate, but it's not so much empathetic because she is a creature that is fueled by her own passion and is pure. So if it's not in alignment with what her nature, you know, her spiritual and physical nature desires, like what really, you know, gets the drip going, if you feel what I'm saying. Like this is an energetic drip, not an emotional drip, if you feel me. And if the energy ain't energizing, you know, then she's not going to be here for it. It doesn't matter how sweet you may make the offer, how expressive you might emote your feelings. You know, she's not really moved by that. It still has to make sense to her sensational self in order for her to fully commit to it by way of the Two of Cups. And there's love there. You know, she has the passion is love for sure. It's a different type of love. It's more fiery, but there's still that there, but it has to be incited by first stimulating, like igniting that flame. And someone that is not, well, at least for this Queen of Wands, it could be different for different essences of this queen. But for this Queen of Wands, or it's just by spirit standards, she needs something a bit more grounded, tried, tested, and true, and stabilized and committed, you know, honorable in a sense is what the Knight of Pentacles represents, than someone that's just looking to than someone wishy-washy. You know, she could have the Knight of Wands for that. You know, somebody that might match her passion, knows how to mirror her in some regard, but is not necessarily going to be dependable. Why would she gamble on that when she's the Queen of Wands? She's the most attractive queen in the deck who can literally have whatever she sets her energy toward, whatever she sets her mind to. It has to be something worth her time and energy. So again, I feel like he was used to finessing the system, finessing counterparts, finessing his way into contracts and commitments, taking much more off the table or even under the table, I just heard, than what he was willing to give honorably. And it finally just caught up. Like he caught up with himself. It's like spirit stopped him like, where do you think you're going? First of all, dude, you're headed in the wrong direction because the partnership is that way. But what he thought is that he could leave that on the table, keep this man stuck and stagnant, leave the feminine in waiting while he goes and tries to clean himself up real quick, get a quick little run himself through the car wash, the spiritual car wash real quick, and then hopefully he could make it back in time, just in time for victory and success in a stable union, because this is definitely a valuable partnership. This is a new home. This is a peaceful home, a stable home, something that is balanced, harmonious, sound. Again, it's the passionate expression of this Two of Cups. You know, two people on the same page, having been tested and tried, have healed in their own regard, individually and collectively, have overcome some great challenges, some defeats, some sabotages, perhaps even their own self-sabotage with the Ten of Swords. And now that cycle is over. It's over for the energies that were trying to impose it upon them from the outside in, and for the ways that they perhaps had created those experiences for themselves on the inside out. And this is, you know, the energy here of those that find themselves on the losing end of this deal, literally, and mental and emotional, well, really mental. It's not so much emotional, honestly, because this Knight of Cups, he still has some development to do in terms of his emotional awareness, even, because he's been digging into other people's emotions, literally, take that as you will, for so long that he probably doesn't even really know his own emotions from others at this point. You know, when you play in other people's energy by way of manipulation and, you know, finessing and, you know, always shape shifting to make yourself into something that you think the other person would. That's what that was. Like, he's always been able to put on a new mask emotionally, so to present himself to be something that he really wasn't measuring up to internally. Internally, he's only advanced from the Page of Cups from the very beginning to the Knight of Cups now, which is still almost like a teenager, young adult at best, you know, and in terms of like emotional intelligence and stability. And that's why it's cause for development here. Like, he finally had to face, or has to face, his healing one way or another. And I shouldn't say have to, because it is a choice. He doesn't have to do anything, but that's ultimately the point of junction that he's at now. So he could either continue to feel sorry for himself in this Ten of Swords energy and being fixated on what he perhaps has missed out on, or what opportunity is passing him by. Really, it's about losing, you know, which is what's causing the mental, the spiritual underdevelopment, is that he's too fixated on the win, you know, than he is on being whole and complete in his own spirit. You know, that's the win. Being healed, that's the win. Like I said, the tortoise and the hare type of energy, where he was the hare because he found shortcuts and found ways to finesse his way to the so-called finish line, as he saw it, you know, thinking that he was moving ahead faster in life than someone that seemed to be moving extremely slow, if not sitting still altogether at times. But just as in with the story, it's the slow and steady that wins the race. Really taking your time to understand who you are, to, you know, reach back into experience, confronting those past traumas, the reasons why you felt heartbroken in the first place, the reasons why you felt incited to do the things that you did that didn't necessarily, you know, to make the choices that you made that didn't always necessarily bring the best outcome. That's the energy here, but instead he found ways to just, like, you know, get over it. Like, okay, that didn't work, I'll move on to this one. That relationship didn't work, okay, well, I can be this person in this one, I can be this person in that one. And for every situation he encountered, he just changed faces just to keep on climbing to some, you know, destination unknown, obviously, at this point, because it wasn't even what he desired to have ultimately. It was that nothing was ever enough. You know why? Because when you're drinking bitter lemonade and not, you know, pure water of the spirit, you're always going to be parched. You're always going to be thirsty for more validation, more affirmation, more money, more power, more success, more accomplishments. When you're not fully developed in your own personal creativity and like I said, the origins of your spirit, the origins of your force, which is spirit, you haven't taken the time to really filter that system properly, you're always going to be looking for something else to quench your thirst, something outside of yourself. And now with the development of universal order as it is, everyone has to face themselves. You facing all the choices that you made, the investments that you made up until this point. You're observing and taking inventory over the harvest that you've created, that you manifested. And on account of that, being excited as to how to plant in this new cycle, you know, in this new season. And for some, you know, it's planting that seed into a partnership because you've proven yourself to be, you know, to be ready to do so. You have to be singularly ready, solo, and supreme in your solo nature before you can be an attractive force for a commitment, or you'll just keep attracting what you know, exactly from where you are. But there's an order of ascension and transcendence on the entire collective. And it's like you're either going to get with it, you know, do the work, take the time, make the commitment, make the investment in yourself, or you're going to get lost in those old world orders of trying to like hit a lick ultimately. You're only going to be finessing yourself in the end, because it's going to just continue to loop you right back to what? Square one, back to yourself. It's like, nah, it's like Groundhog Day. That's what I heard. Like, you get up, you get into that old finessing. Literally, look, Groundhog Day, where he kept getting up to the same day over and over again. That's where you'll be until you make up in your mind sword energy to do something different. Look, this is supposed to be a cycle that's over. It is completed for the Knight of Pentacles, but yet for this energy, it's like he keeps regressing back. It's like it's supposed to be over, the day is over, and then you wake up and it's that same day all over again. Perhaps he's stuck in a commitment based on his choices that he doesn't want to be in, and that's why he's miserable. That's what he was trying to finesse his way out of and into something that was more vital for himself, but he did it by scheming means. You know, you can't do that anymore. It has to be honorable. It has to be good intentions. What did I say? An honest living is what we're all called to at this time. You have to get honest, and as hard as it may be to even evolve from you know, habits that have been cultivated for years, over time, over lifetimes perhaps, but certainly, you know, over cycles and within this life. It is hard to face, you know, a new reality and to have to shift, you know, your mindset to do something different. The hope though is that if you have the faith and the fortitude to do it, is that you'll find success in it, that he could be successful investing in his own spiritual healing in essence, and perhaps find his own way through the guidance of spirit and source to his, you know, his higher self first and foremost, and to the divine partnership that really is destined to him at this point. What he was trying to finesse himself into was not it. And it probably wasn't it. Maybe he was a match for it at some time, but he didn't own up to the value of it. He didn't match the value of it by way of materializing himself to be a match, you know? So let's see, I'm gonna get one more row and then we out of here. That's a lot. Am I taking that? Oh, it's not that much. Yeah, okay. I think I'm gonna stop there too. I'm not even, should I take one more to end this? Because then I'll be trying to get one more card and it'll be 10 cards coming out. I may take one more, but we'll see first. Let's see where this leads us. Yeah, and this, let's see. So I don't know why we're going back to this, because I kind of already said this, but it is the Ace of Swords here, which is saying that there's truth and clarity here in what I'm saying, what I'm expressing. But it's like the Eight of Swords. Oh. So this is the energy, and is, I don't know which one, but what I'm hearing is that this is the energy of the feminines or whomever that were vulnerable to his finessing, that would otherwise, remember I said the Knight of Pentacles might otherwise be the King of Pentacles if not for the external interference, you know. This is the same with the feminine energies that he perhaps has come in encounter with along the way, where he kept them, you know, he left them in a blocked, bound, isolated position, you know, disconnected from truth and clarity about who he was and about, you know, being able to even trust themselves, and this leaving a state of heartbreak. Like, that's why he's having to face this fate as it is, because he's done too much damage, you know, to energies. Remember I said this is like the Queen of Cups? Well, here she is, you know, this is the true nature of her. And the essence of the Queen of Wands is that confidence and courage to now act upon what she knows to be true. That's why she's sitting as the Queen of Wands, or whomever these feminine energies are now in a higher position of courage and stability in their own power and their own creativity. They're not as easily, remember I said the Queen of Cups is a little bit more easily manipulated by the way of empathy and sympathy. Not that she's not spiritually intelligent or emotionally intelligent, because she absolutely is, but she has more of a soft spot for emotions and for, you know, things of that nature than does the Queen of Wands. This is saying that that's still the essence of her, but she's now more stable and grounded in the power and in her own personal confidence, knowing that she being in high expectation for someone that's going to match her vibration, that's going to match her creativity, you know, that's not going to siphon it or play on it or manipulate it, monopolize it, take more than what they're willing to offer. You know, she's not for it. The Queen of Wands is like very watchful in terms of protecting herself and protecting her surroundings. So she's just not as easily finessed in that regard. Now we got the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Cups down here. What's this Ace of Swords, really? Truth and clarity. Oh, okay, because they're getting the truth and clarity about the oh, wow. So that's also the thing that he's being exposed, because there once where these feminines were blind, you know, vulnerable to his acts. That's why he's kind of stopped in his ways, because he would want to go back and regress back into those habits and those tactics, but the energies that would have been primed for it, you know, vulnerable to it, sitting ducks, you know, not able to see, or, you know, don't really have the intel to know what type of vibration that he's on. Like pretty much the women that he's been able to finesse in the past, or situations, it don't even have to be women, but ways that he's been able to finesse in the past are like blocked to him now, because the truth is out. There's been some illumination, some exposure of truth and clarity of a divine nature. This don't have nothing to do really with you know, somebody like exposing, well, it could, I don't know, but it's come from such a divine force and source that is undeniable, pretty much, with the Ace of Swords. So it's like whatever, maybe in the past there has even because with the Ten of Swords, it could even have been rumors about his prowess. You know, there could have been some talk about what he's into, what he does, how he moves, you know, his way of finessing. It could have been, you know, a little bit of gossip out there about it that ultimately did kind of put him in a tough spot and kind of like sat his ass down, you know what I mean, that he was stressed and vexed about, not only because he lost an opportunity, but now it's keeping him from moving forward in the same ways that he used to before. So there's that. But when it comes from a human, you know, it's like human chit chat, you can take it or leave it. But there's some way that the spirit has stepped in to ultimately put the brakes on everything so that he can't do this anymore. There's some illumination of truth that's happening so vividly and on such a massive scale that it's like receipts, you know what I mean? There's like receipts for who he truly is, what he truly does, and what he is about. You know, it's out there. And it's showing that the toxicity of his come from, and also it's like an expression of truth and clarity to those that were vulnerable to his antics and that may potentially be vulnerable. So it's like it killed it on both sides. So whereas maybe he thought he could have reached backwards and tried, you know, to hook up with some old flames or do that same old dance with someone else in the past that maybe didn't hear the news yet. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, I heard about you. They heard it through the grapevine some type of way, or it's just spirit. You know, it could even be that with the Queen of Cups, that the feminines are just so much more evolved and, like I said, in their emotional intuition and intelligence, that they can't be finessed in that same way anymore. They have come to know the true value of their spiritual essence enough to know that no, I'm not giving you my cup until I know that you willing at the same time, man, I don't know you type of energy. Like, no, I'm not just going to pour into you and give you the best of me and you ghost me in the end. Like, you walk away and I'm left holding an empty cup, or in exchange for this bitter lemonade that you tried to leave me. It's like, for whatever reason or however way it is, Spirit has put the stop on. I wish I could say this better because I know it's deeper than that, but it's like what I'm seeing is like it's an external illumination or exposure and an internal exposure. So again, like I said, it's put on blast for in a public setting or in some public way, and it's also maybe because of the way that there's been some display of who he is, it's like illuminated something within those that have been victim or vulnerable to it, to say, hey, you know what? Like, I used to kick it with him, or we used to have, because it could Two of Cups doesn't have to be love in an intimate sense. It could be friends, it could be family. I get the sense that everybody in his life is awakening to the damage that he had. Oh, wow. Everybody is awakening to the damage and the trauma that he ultimately has caused, whereas before they weren't aware. They were not privy to the truth. Okay, now I get it, because he works in such a covert way. Like I said, it's so underhanded, it's psychological, it's subconscious, it's emotional, it's manipulative, it's, a gross narcissistic, behavior here, where, like I said, he makes, and is so gross that, because more or less with narcissists, a lot, especially nowadays, when you're being finessed in some way, shape, or form. You could see the signs, but there's some way that he was able to kind of like mask his manipulative force in the way that you think that he's actually giving you more, like he's adding more value to your life than you are giving to him. That's the difference. Whereas he's actually taking more, if not all, from you. He's making you feel like maybe perhaps even just his sheer presence is adding value to your existence in some way, shape, or form. And now, and it's because of maybe perhaps the way that he props himself up energetically to be this high vibrational choice, to be stable and secure, to be emotionally expressive in some way, shape, or form, to even be spiritual, perhaps. It's like whatever he can fill up in that cup, he does it as a match to whatever he thinks you need or want to see of him, and offers it to you. But really, the reason why it's imbalanced is because it's false. Like I said, it's bitter lemonade, or it's nothing at all in that cup, really, or it's something that maybe even is poisonous in a sense. But it's enough for him to make you think that not only is he matching you, but he's actually adding value to you. So because of his, his sly nature, very, very, what do you call it? Like very, I don't even know what that word is when somebody is just really good at what they do. Very seductive is what cup energy is. He's very seductive in the spirit. He's spiritually seductive. That's what he is. He matches your energy, makes you think that he's giving you, he's on your level, if not better, maybe even making you feel like, ooh, I done found the one, honey. Like, this man is spiritual. He knows himself. He's in tune with his femininity, that too, because sometimes feminines can be disarmed when they feel like a masculine is, you know, and very much acquainted with their feminine nature or balanced in it. He's, you know, they feel safe with a person. Yes, okay, it's coming to me now. You feel safe with someone that you feel like isn't a threat to your feminine force, when in actuality, he's the greatest threat to your feminine force because he wants to absorb it all in his masculine vibration for the purposes of his own, you know, manipulation and ultimately for some advancement, you know, in his own right. So he's the most dangerous kind of, this is like a, what do they call, what's that energy? Like a Casanova. Yeah, that's what he is. He's like a Casanova. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you. This is a Casanova energy, but of the worst kind, because he's not Casanova, I think was more, he just was always caught up in, you know, the next feminine energy, because he just, you know, he probably was more so a little bit of a nympho in some regard, like just gets high off of female vibes because he just loves that exchange, if you know what I mean. This guy is like a vampiristic Casanova. Like he's finessing because he knows the value of feminine energy, but he just wants to have it for himself. And it builds his power and his strength to know how he's able to continuously get away with the same tactic over and over and over again, unbeknownst to his victims or those that are vulnerable to it. It just continues to just add more and more value, more venom into this cup that he has to offer, so that the next relationship, he's learned a little bit more from the past one, knows how to tweak his persona just a little bit so he can just be the perfect man, the perfect presentation of a man for whomever he's in front of. And the Queen of Wands has power, creative power and force. Thank you, Spirit. It's all for the essence of, it's like he's literally trying to diminish and deplete that creative force and essence, confidence, courage, everything depleted down to this Eight of Swords card, so that cup fills up his drink, literally. That is like draining the life out of energies for his own vitality, you know, so that he can present himself as even more powerful, more creative, more of a life force to the next contract, the next commitment, the next opportunity. He's an opportunist at you know, the most kind expression of it all. A killer Casanova is what he is at the worst. Bam, done. So he has created a lot of heartbreak in his wake against Queen of Cups, who had a high vibrational spiritual energy to offer. So he wasn't just finessing any old hoes. No, oh no, 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 no. The Queen of Wands is the best of them all as far as the queens are concerned. And the Queen of Cups is like the essence of a woman. So he was going after the best of the best. And it was, you know, was almost, that was the return in power for his prowess, because he was able to finesse women that were considered high valued, high octane, high essence, you know, the pretty girls, the creative girl, like the trophy type of vibes is what he was after, but in every regard, not just by their appearance, that too, but also internally so. So it wasn't even just enough to just finesse a pretty girl or attractive girl, like a vixen of sorts. She had to actually have some substance too. So he had high standards now. This Casanova had very high standards, but it was all for the sake of what he was looking to siphon from them. Heartbreak all along, trauma caused all along, and now because of this exposure, he has nowhere to plug into anymore. That's why he's having to deal with his own light, his own vitality, and now being faced with the decision to either upgrade, evolve, or ultimately to transition in the worst way possible, is what I see here. There's and really regressing into the same energy over and over again, because maybe he finessed the wrong one and he met his match, and now that's who he's stuck with until he can change his mindset to do something differently. That's what I also see here. He found a Queen of Wands that was not the type of Queen of Wands you want to partner up with, thinking that he was finessing a hot one and he got burnt. There's that too. And that's why he's been looking to finesse his way back into something more vital, but all those roads are blocked and closed. Like, he can't get to the queen. This is the real Queen of Wands. Okay, now I understand. This is the real Queen of Wands down. I mean, Queen of Cups down here. He thought he had a Queen of Cups in this commitment that he bound himself to there, but she actually turned out to be just as much of a finesser as him. Go figure. Casanova meets Jezebel. Oh, well, looky there. That's the justice of it all. Everything is equal and balanced. There's nothing unfair, nothing unjustified going on here. He might be feeling sorry for himself, feeling like, woe is me, I don't deserve this. And he probably really even believes that he doesn't deserve this, that he has ultimately finessed himself to believe that he deserves the best. He deserves more. You only deserve as much as you're willing to give, though, sir, with the Two of Cups. Not as much as you're willing to take. Balance and harmony and fairness is here. Equal give and take. Cause and effect is in full effect. Everything that's been expelled is going to be returned. If he doesn't change his mindset, he's going to be stuck in this Groundhog Day of a union, of a commitment or relationship over and over again, literally like dying every day. That's terrible. That's awful to hear. Like, I don't know. I don't even know, because it's so hard for someone such as this that's been, like I said, that's been doing it a certain way over and over to face reality, to face himself. It's going to be a great feat for him to overcome his own mentality at this point, especially with perhaps a low vibrational Queen of Wands on the job. That's going to be hard to overcome. It's possible. It's like, and I'm even seeing this here, it's like he's traded places with the energies that he has victimized. Like, now he's the feminine, the helpless damsel in distress, and this Eight of Swords that is having a hard time seeing his way out of this situation, which is why he's continuing on this cycle now. He's having a hard time seeing the truth of his this is like mental instability. It's really like spiritual prison. Both of these are in essence, that he's trapped in his own karmic cycle that he created. He's literally traded places by way of the Justice card, like traded jail cells where he had others victimized, here stuck, unsure, like how did I even get here? How some of the women, like I said, they didn't know how they had been finessed energetically, emotionally. They just were in destitute positions but had no idea the source of their destitution. Some even deteriorating, stuck and stagnant in places of heartbreak and trauma that they didn't even know the source of, because he was so unassuming. They didn't even know, so they start to turn inward and almost feel that they were the cause of their own trauma in some regard, which of course we have choices, so there's that, and we all as feminines have some connection to intuition, and that there's always some inclination when something isn't right in your spirit and your body. Like, you can always feel like, this feels a little funny to me. It's just about whether or not you actually listen to it and respond. So I feel like the upside is that it has strengthened a lot of women to the force of their own intuition and emotional intelligence, for sure. Anyone that has been vulnerable to this, this whatever the hell it is, has now seen the truth that has ultimately freed them from feeling like they were the cause of their own trauma, but it also has strengthened them to have more stringent boundaries around their spiritual essence for future protection, which is great. And in the end, like I said, it's all balanced. There are no victims here, really and truly. He's not a victim. He's only receiving back, as I said, cause and effect, what's been given out. And the women that he's encountered aren't truly victimized because they've gotten a lesson in how to protect themselves, like the Queen of Wands in the upright does. They can protect their creativity, their force. They see it as valuable. They're not willing to just give it away to anybody that looks like they love them or looks like they're a match. They're not easily finessed anymore, which we as women can be vulnerable to being finessed because we just want to love and be loved at our core. No matter how masculine or feminine you are, that's the core essence of us. That's how we are innately created to be generators of love. And so when you live in a world where you don't feel safe to do that, it can often make you feel like you're a prisoner in your own body, in your own mind perhaps, and it can make you feel unsafe, like this is someone who doesn't feel secure in her existence. The Queen of Wands is the opposite of that. She feels safe to love. She knows how pure it is. She knows how much of an impact it makes. With the Queen of Wands on her back, she knows that she's protected to do so because she can trust her intuition to steer her in the right direction, to know what's a match for her vitality and what is a detriment, period. So it's justice for all in this regard. No losers here. Oh, look at that. And there's the Queen of Cups, the Queen, sorry, the King. And there's the King of Cups, the counterpart that she truly deserves, that one that knows how to value love. Look at that. And I said I might get one more card, but this is the one more card, and that is the essence here. No more needed. That this is her true match, her true counterpart, and amidst all that has transpired, the justice is that because she has been elevated and ascended to her fullest capacity of love and creativity and courage and compassion and all, the essences of a woman that she is designed to be. Now she is a match by way of the Lover's card for the counterpart that can mirror that energy flow and also protect it. That can be a protective force in her life. Like I said yesterday, for him to be a hard place, for her to be soft. Now the King of Cups is very emotionally balanced as well, but he may not be as expressive, but he knows the value. He knows the value of his own spiritual expression and essence. But more importantly, he is compassionate enough to value that in others and to protect that in others. That's his come from. So he has a lot of emotions, even whether he expresses them or not, but it's his appreciation for the purest organic nature of all. As I said, that spirit is the essence of all, that is of highest value, especially as it pertains to the Queen of Cups, who's looking to be in a Two of Cups commitment, someone that's on the same page as she is. Justice is served for all indeed, for all the heartbreak, for all the misfortune, for all the illusions and delusions and confusions. Justice is indeed served and love abounds, as it always does. All right, so that's it. I was trying to straighten this up before I close, but I'll keep my obsessions to myself. That's good enough. All right, so that's it. And the thing I love about this is that she started out the Queen of Wands because she's had to be so protective over her energetic force based on all the experiences that she's had. And like I said, now she can feel soft. She can feel soft in a hard place, and he can also feel safe being hard in a soft place. There is synergy between the two. Equal balance, equal give and take. The feelings are indeed mutual between these two lovers. And I love it. I love it. It is so and so it is. happily ever after indeed. All right, so that's it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Until next time, peace.